Hey, what's up everybody? This is AJ and I'm coming to you with another video. Welcome to Transparent Tuesday, where I answer questions that are asked of me, answering them honestly, openly, and transparently. So let's jump into today's question. I was asked for this week, what was my top surgery recovery like? So for my recovery, I had top surgery March of last year, March 10th of 2022. And my recovery was fairly easy, easier than I thought it would be. For me, I set myself up with any type of surgery or any type of procedure. I set myself up to have as much pain as possible. Like I put in my mind, okay, this is gonna really hurt. It's gonna be painful. I'm not gonna be able to move. I'm not gonna be able to do anything for myself. I do that so that if perchance that does happen, my mind is already set up for it, so it doesn't come as such a shock to me. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I do. It works for me. You do what works for you. But for my recovery from top surgery, it wasn't that bad at all. Like, I wasn't in pain at all. It just itched because of the binder that I was wearing. Of course, I did not have a full range of motion in my arms because I had what's called T-Rex arms, which means that my range was short. So it was just basically here and maybe here. Everything else I couldn't really do. I did have family members to help me because you do need that. You do need a lot of help because there are just some things you can't do. You can't hold anything. You can't really reach for anything. As a matter of fact, if you know that you're having top surgery, the best thing for you to do is to practice at home, reaching for things with this kind of motion to see where you need to put things for you after your surgery so that you'll be able to get them. That's if you may not have as much help as you would need, but it is best to have someone there with you for at least a week or a week and a half to make sure that you can be accommodated so that you won't have to strain yourself into doing things for yourself. So after my surgery, I came home and I was told by the nurse that the best thing for me to do when I felt up to it was to walk around to make sure that I didn't have blood pooling in my legs, you know, because that is a possibility after surgery. So, you know, it was just mainly walking around a little bit, and because I didn't have a full range of motion in my arms weren't moving, so I had someone help me to walk around so that I won't lose my balance. As far as my pain level, like I said, I really didn't have a lot of pain. It was more discomfort and a lot of itching because of the binder. There was one day though, I think the second day or the second night going into the third day, where I did feel pain, and that was only because the numbing agent that they put in after my surgery wore off. That's when I felt a lot of discomfort into pain. But after that, it was fine. For my surgery, for most top surgeries, people have drains. They have drains on both sides, like here and here, or depending on what type of top surgery you get. Sometimes the drains are in the front, sometimes they're further back, and you have to wear them for maybe 2 weeks or so. But for my surgeon didn't use drains, so I did not have to have drains for mine. And the way that they do that, in order not to have drains, my surgeon used thicker sutures, and when he sewed the incision, he sewed it extremely close to my body. So my chest was extremely tight. So it was hard to move. The movements that I could make, it was really, really hard because I felt everything. It was really tight. And it wasn't uncomfortable. It was just tight. It almost was like I was doing chest press for 6 hours a day for about 6 weeks straight without stretching. That's what it felt like. It was completely tight. But after about a week and a half, 2 weeks in, it loosened up. It did loosen up. But that was only because I did not have drains. So they had to sew the incision with thicker sutures and extremely close to my body. The only problem that I did have, I had to sit up to sleep. I couldn't lay down at all because it did feel uncomfortable trying to sit up by myself. So I would have to sit up to sleep. But when your body's in a relaxed state, you kind of slid down. You slide down. So I slid down during the night. So I'd have to like call my sister to come and like literally pull me up because I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't roll over. I couldn't do anything because that's all these muscles here. That's all part of your pecs and your abdominal muscles. So if you're trying to move after you've had surgery there and you're trying to do it by yourself, you will feel it. So I felt it. So that was one of the only things. Other than that, it wasn't much else going on. It was just a lot of itching. I did not like wearing the binder. The binder made everything itch. It was uncomfortable under my arms because you have to wear it all day long. And it was just, it itched to the point where you couldn't really scratch it. So I would just kind of go like this, like trying to pat it very lightly so that the itching could stop. But that itching, it really got on my nerves. But I knew that it was part of the healing process. And, I just had to go with it. Because I did not have drains, which was a good thing, I was able to shower 48 hours after my surgery, which felt so good because you don't know how good a shower feels until you can't take one. I know there are days when we're like, I don't feel like showering, I'm not going anywhere today or whatever, and that's our choice. But we choose that because we know we can shower if we want to. But when that option to shower is taken away, you start feeling really, really gritty and so when that 48 hours hit, I went straight to the shower. But I had to turn my back. I couldn't let water come on my chest. So I had to turn my back and let the water fall on my chest from the back because the impact of the shower, it could hurt your chest, your incisions and everything while they're trying to heal. And I would suggest for those who are about to have top surgery, get a shower brush that washes your back. That will be your best friend. Like I said, your reach is not going to be great. So having that back brush will help you not only to wash your back, but it'll help you to wash other places on your body without having to reach. It is really hard to reach. Up, side, down, it's hard because your range of motion is limited and it's going to be like that for a few weeks. So even though most people tend to go back to work 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks after their surgery, the range of motion is still a work in progress. You may have a little bit more each and every day, but initially you want to make sure that you have help any kind of way that you can. So getting that back brush is going to be one of the best decisions that you make. It helps a lot. So I had that, and that shower, that first shower felt amazing. Felt really, really amazing. So after I did that was 2 days after my surgery. After I did that, I didn't really wear shirts because I couldn't reach my arms up to put a shirt on. I didn't even wear button-up shirts. Basically, what I wore during my recovery was the binder, and then I would wear zip-up hoodies because that was just easier. It's easier to put like your arms back into the sleeves of a hoodie with help. I did have help. And then just zipping it up. It was comfortable. It was easy. It was loose. You know, it was easier access to the binder. So I would suggest that for people who, you know, don't want to just wear a binder. You could put a zip-up hoodie over it. It's no big deal. It feels really good. It feels comfortable. And it was very snuggly sleeping as well. You know, since I was sitting up, I just had someone put the hood of the hoodie up. I would like bring the strings down, and then I would just go to sleep. It was very snug. It felt really good. And then day by day, I started to see that my reach would extend a little more. I still wasn't picking up a lot of things. I wasn't reaching up at all. It was hard to pick up like a big glass. Oh, and the good thing to get for yourself, for your bedside, would be a water bottle. Or if you have one, make sure that it's always there, and who's ever there with you, make sure that they keep refilling it, because you are going to need it. I did get extra thirsty. I don't know why. I don't know whether it was just me or if that's a thing when it comes to recovering from top surgery, but I did get thirsty a lot. It could have been because of the medications. I was on 7 medications. I only took 5. I only did 5. 2 of them I really didn't need. But those 5 medications, I did have to complete all of them. I had to take every single pill. So it is just a matter of keeping account of what pill was taken when, and when the next time I'm supposed to take it, which my sister helped me with that. I had a whiteboard, and she wrote everything on the whiteboard, what time I took it, how many pills were left. I mean, we had it all organized. I'm not saying anyone has to be like that. It's just that that's how I chose to do it, so that I wouldn't, you know, my brain sometimes have brain farts. So I had to write everything down to make sure that I didn't OD on something, you know, take something at 6 o'clock that I just took at 5 o'clock, knowing that I wasn't supposed to take it until 11. I had to write it down. But I'm not saying you should do that. That was just for me. That's basically it. Like, my recovery, I can honestly say, was a little more pleasant than I thought it would be. Like I said, I was not in any pain at all. The only problem I had was sleeping, you know, because I had to, not because it was painful sleeping. It was just weird sleeping, sitting up all night long, and not being able to lay down. I started laying down, I think 2 weeks after my surgery was when I started laying down, and it felt so good just to lay flat and not have any problems rolling over, not have any problems sitting up. And it was the best sleep. I mean, after 2 weeks, it was the best sleep ever. And then after that, it was just basically getting more range of motion in my arms. I could not go back to the gym until my 8th week. Well, technically, I went back to the gym during my 5th week of recovery, just working lower body. I could not work upper body until my 8th week of recovery, in which I started very slowly. And I actually started with a chest press, with light weight, and it was surprisingly easy. It wasn't painful, and I slowly increased the weight. And I think my first time back at the gym after that 8th week working chest press, I think I got up to 45-pound weight plates on each side of the bar the first time out. So it wasn't like I couldn't do anything. It was just starting light. I started with 10 pounds and just kept increasing, making sure that I did things in a proper range of motion, and making sure to be aware of my chest as far as if I feel any discomfort or anything like that, and I didn't. The only thing that I felt discomfort with was when I tried to do a push-up. I literally felt the scar tissue break, and it kind of startled me, so I stopped doing the push-ups. But it felt like it literally broke apart, which is a good thing, but it's not something that I wanted to feel in that way. After my incisions were completely closed, of course they take off the steri tape to check everything. And once it was completely closed, then I was able to start massaging it. So I got bio oil, which I still have from like April of 2022. I got bio oil that helps to massage. I was massaging the incisions, and I was massaging the nipples, just to make sure to break up all of the scar tissue so that everything could be flat, because the incision where the sutures were, they're not flat. They look very welted. So I was massaging those, and then I was using silicone gel on the scars, and then I let the gel dry, and then I would use the silicone strips and put them over and wear those all day. After doing that for 1 week, the scars completely flattened out. Completely, after 1 week. So that silicone gel and those silicone strips really, really work. You know, some people use one or the other. I just chose to use both, and the effects were amazing. As a matter of fact, I still use the silicone gel, even though my scars aren't gonna get any flatter than what they are. I just use it out of habit. You know, one thing my surgeon said is the more that I baby my chest, the more that I put a lot of attention to it, the better it would feel. And he was right. And I still use the silicone gel. But after I got clearance and after everything was closed, that's when I started doing the massages. Now, when you start the massages, it is going to feel a little uncomfortable because nothing feels like how you're touching it. So when I would touch the nipples, the sensation would be a little lower, and then vice versa. So nothing feels as it should, but you get used to that. Do I have any feeling in my nipples? No, not at all. And that's okay. But I do have sensation where the scars are. And, you know, massaging those helps to break up the scar tissue. And it just helps overall to take away some of the discomfort of how my chest was tight. It loosened it up a lot. So, and I still massage every now and then. I'll take the bio oil and just kind of massage the nipples this way, massage the scar tissue, and it still helps. It does help. So that's what I've been doing since my my surgery last March. And like I said, recovery was easier than I thought. Most people who I've spoken to who had top surgery, they say the same thing. It wasn't painful. It was just, you know, lack of range of motion, uncomfortable as far as the binder and the itching. That itching, I'm going to be honest, it really, really sucks. That binder really, really sucks. But you have to wear it. So I would suggest, for me, I had a lot of problems with the binder almost like cutting into the skin under my arms. So what I asked for from my surgeon and from my surgeon's assistant was like the abdominal pads. They're about this big. And I would fold them over and put them under my arm, in between my arm and the binder, so it would help. It was kind of like a cushion. That was the only saving grace that I had for that thing, because that binder, it was just really uncomfortable, and you have to wear it everywhere, every day, until your doctor says, okay, you can stop wearing it. And I stopped wearing mine early only because when I was wearing it, it was hurting. the left side of my chest. And we couldn't figure out why. So my surgeon was like, okay, so just stop wearing the binder. That was the only reason why I stopped wearing my binder early. I had like another week and a half to go, but it worked out for me. You know, the pain stopped, and I think it was because it was too tight, even though I wasn't putting it on tight. It was too tight, and that was because I had swelling here, what we thought was swelling. Now I found out that it is little fatty deposits here. So I will have to have a revision, and that is possible. Sometimes you may have to have a revision on something that didn't go quite right during your surgery. That doesn't mean your surgery wasn't a success. It just means that, you know, something happened along the way in your recovery that causes you to may have to have a revision. But you usually don't have a revision until about 10 to 12 months after your initial surgery. So it's been over a year for mine. I'm probably gonna have a revision on the left side just to get those fat deposits out. Because for me, I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way it looks. Like I said, initially we thought that it was swelling, but after about 6 or 7 months, when it didn't go down, I started to, you know, get a little worried, and then we realized that it was just little fatty deposits. So I'll be going to see the surgeon July 25th, just so he can check to make sure that, yes, I do need a revision, and then I'll have my revision surgery after that, whatever date that will be. So yeah, that's how my recovery went. It was fairly quick, fairly easy. I was very happy and still am very happy with the results. So when it comes to the nipples, I had a bilateral mastectomy, and that's just the incisions on both sides. One incision here, one incision here. If you can see the incisions right there, and then the incision right there. That's a bilateral mastectomy. And what they do, they remove the areola and the nipples first, and then they reattach them afterward, right? After they finish the suturing up the chest and taking everything, all the fat out or whatever. And, you know, they bolster, because the nipples are grafted on, they bolster them down. Now, when it comes to the nipples recovering, for those who don't know, let me just say, do not be alarmed when you see the nipples look like they're peeling off. That's what they're supposed to do, because it is a graft. The actual nipple is under that. So it's kind of like breaking out of a shell, so that it can survive. And you want to see it pink. It's going to look really, really weird. But you want to make sure that it's pink, because if it's pink, that means that your nipples are surviving, that they've hooked onto a blood supply. And that's a really good thing. You know, there can be complications, and I'm just saying this so people will know, because a lot of people don't talk about the downside of things. There can be complications where your nipples may not survive. They may get necrotic. In that instance, what will happen is they will repair the damage, remove the nipples or whatever, wait a few months, and then for those who desire, they can have their nipples tattooed on, which look completely normal. Now, I'm not saying that happens often, but you know, you always need to know all the facts, put everything in your mind so that you won't get so alarmed if perchance something happens. That doesn't mean it will, but it's just good to know all the facts and have all the information. So when you see the nipples, the nipple part, the graft, like peeling off, first of all, don't pull it. Do not pull it. Let it come off by itself. Your surgeon's going to tell you that too. let it come off by itself. Don't pull it. It's going to hurt. I did not pull mine. I don't know if it's going to hurt, but it just looks like it'll hurt if you pull it. Just let it come off. It'll come off by itself, usually in the shower. What you do to help it along, they will give you like this petroleum to put on the nipples every day, and then tell you to put like little gauze on it and tape just to protect your nipples. And then every day you remove it, you take your shower, you let the water fall on it again, and then you do the same thing. You put the petroleum on it, you put the gauze pads on it, and then you put the tape on it to keep the gauze in place, and then you get dressed. They will, the grafting part, the shell part will fall off by itself. And then when it does, you'll see the pink in the nipples, which is good. And then eventually, depending on the melanin in your skin, the nipples will turn the color that they're supposed to. Of course, since I am a darker person, person of color, my nipples turn dark, which is natural. They're supposed to. But initially, they were pink. So it depends on your skin tone, your skin type. And yeah, it's a process. And I did have a lot of questions while my healing was going on. And I had no problem in contacting my surgeon, you know, emailing his assistant, giving pictures. They always ask for pictures. They want to see what you're talking about. I would email pictures so they can see, and then they would let me know, okay, so that's totally fine. That's what's supposed to happen. Just because your surgery is over does not mean you cannot contact your surgeon. Stay in contact with them if you have questions. They look forward to answering because this is all new to you. It's not new to them. They know what happens. But a lot of times when they ask us if we have questions for them, we may not have those questions in our minds until after the surgery happens. And then it's like, oh man, I need to ask this question. Write your question down when it comes to your head while you're recovering and contact your surgeon. There's nothing wrong with that. I did it often and it did help. So, you know, that's just that. So that is my recovery for my top surgery. You know, it was very easy. I can't say that I had, you know, big problems or anything. I didn't. You know, I did have some anxiety when I saw the nipples, but like I said, I contacted my doctor and they reassured me that that's what they're supposed to look like. That's why I'm telling you, so that you won't have that same thought that I had of my nipples not surviving. They were surviving, they were thriving. It's just that no one told me what it was going to look like. So I am telling you what it looks like during recovery, so that you won't get freaked out. So yeah, that is my recovery from top surgery, from beginning to now. And now, you know, I'm loving my chest. I love the way it feels. I love the way it looks. My surgeon did an amazing job, and I'm just happy with everything. So thank you to the person who asked that question. I hope I answered your question. And if anyone else has any other questions, please let me know and I'll do a video about it. If you have any questions about transitioning or my transition in general, you can ask me that question, and again, I will do a video. All right, so please, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to like this video, subscribe to my channel because that helps me out a lot. Hit the notification bell so you can get notifications of when things are uploaded from me. And yeah, that is my video. Thank you so much for tuning in to my video. And hope to see you next time. Have a great day. Have a great evening whenever you're watching this. And I will talk to you later. A.J. out.